Right, we'll give that another go, shall we? Blimey. Oh, that's not a good start. That's not a good start. I wonder what's doing it. Why do I keep crashing out? We'll give it one more go. We'll give it one more go. We'll see how this goes. Right. Let's get ourselves into the cockpit and get this plane started and get down to Gatwick before the whole thing falls to bits again. How very, very strange indeed. So that was just OBS crashing on that last stream, to be clear. That wasn't the sim. The sim's absolutely fine, so I think there's a separate issue with OBS now. So, let's get fired up, shall we? Shall we? Alright, batteries on. And our position light is on steady. Let's get the APU fired up. And we're waiting for this blue light just in here. Any second now, you got the exhaust gas temperature having risen. Now it's starting to fall. There we go. Gen off bus. So let's get these two on. Which means we're going to be powering the aircraft from the APU. That is the little tiny jet engine in the tail of the aircraft. Let's just look up here a little bit. Get our IRS to nav. Your dampener on, even though it's probably going to flick off. Yep, there it goes. There it is. How much fuel do we need? $6,200. No, my bad. 6,524 kilo. Ah! Try that again. 6,524 kilograms. Which is a little under a third full. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. That wasn't the sim crashing though, the sim stayed up. That was just OBS decided to crash. So, I don't really know why it did that. So we're going to do fingers and toes crossed. I am going to complete this flight. So I will just have to keep an eye on OBS and restart it and all the stream at various points. Alright, cross-feed valve is closed, so we can get our fuel pumps on. low pressure warnings should disappear, but if we turn these two on, lo and behold, pressure warnings. Because we've got no fuel in the centre tank, of course, because we're only going down to Gatwick. Alright, emergency lights on, guarded. Passenger signs. Of course, Europe, of course. And that was largely my point, is that if it's going to go to anyone, it's going to be yourself, Bevy, Wessam, you know. Alright, window heats. There they are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Test. How many FPS am I getting? Let me show you. Display FPS. So right now, I have VSync turned on my monitor because I'm on a 60Hz monitor. I've got VSync running at 50% of the monitor refresh rate, hence it's locked at 30. So it could be doing a bit more. In all likelihood, it's probably only managing like 10 more, if it's managing anything more at all. But yeah, about 40 on a in the better moments. Most of the time, sometimes it dips to like the 20s. Sometimes it really dips for weird reasons, but haven't been coming into your streams as much as I volunteer somewhere. Oh, that's great. That's good for you. Well, I hope that's going well. I understand. Right, what did I do? I did window heat, didn't I? Hey Matisse, how's it going? Nice to see you again. You got a 3070, but you want to upgrade to a 4070 because it's weak for 4K settings. Yeah, I mean I have to use DLSS. I'm running at 4K and I've got DLSS on performance mode with a 3070. I don't know if you're aware, but I recently had a 4070 and had to send it back. And the reason being is because, or the main reason, there were a couple of other reasons, but the main reason is that you have to, well you don't have to, but it's highly advised at the moment that you roll back your drivers to an old-ish version, not too old, but a little bit back. I forget the exact number. The 4070 cannot install that version because the 4070 was released after that driver version. So you install that driver version, and as far as it's concerned, the 4070 doesn't exist because the 4070 was never programmed into that driver. So I was a little bit between a rock and a hard place, really. It's like, yeah, you should roll back your driver, but the 4070 won't let you. So fundamentally, it was kind of stopping me running this channel, which was a bit of a shame. Can we do a landing competition one day? That was a good idea. Yeah, maybe we should like do that when we get to like 5,000 subs. We'll do like a... We'll have a bit of fun with that, maybe. So yeah, be warned on a 4070. 4070 Ti, of course, has been out a bit longer. So I think that's included in the driver that you're advised to roll back to. 4070 wasn't programmed in what? So the driver, there's Nvidia drivers that you've obviously installed on your computer when you get a graphics card. Asobo is recommending you roll back to an older version. Hey Brian. But that driver that they recommend you roll back to, when that driver was developed by Nvidia, the 4070 wasn't out. They hadn't released that card. Therefore, if you put a 4070 in your system, try and install that driver, the installer will say, sorry, but the graphics card you're using is unsupported. Because Nvidia never programmed the 4070 into that driver, so the two can't talk. So you've got to go on the newer ones to make it work with the 4070, which are the ones that caused the problems in Flight Sim. Hope your PC's behaving, Brian. Mine is definitely not at the moment. Alright, so we've done window heat. Hydraulic pumps. Oh, I don't know, Europe. Maybe, yeah, I don't actually know. I mean, flightsim.to's got loads, so you can always just use that. This isn't a problem. It sort of is a problem because my sim was crashing every 10 minutes with the 4070 on the latest driver. And I couldn't get on a driver that was not crashing. That's a problem. Alright, aircon. Hack switches. Let's get these onto auto. Isolation valve open and get the APU bleed on. If you look at, I released a video yesterday on the channel where I explained this issue with a link to the Asobo forum post about it. I mean, it's not crashing all the time, but it's crashing sometimes, and there's just like random poor performance. Which would be, you know, it wouldn't be a problem if I could roll back to the driver that Asobo recommends you roll back to, but of course I couldn't, because 4070 is only a month old and the driver was, say, 2 months old, so you can't install a 2-month-old driver on a 1-month-old card. Building a railway bridge with a club. Oh, like a model railway. Nice. Love model railways, if that is what you're talking about. Not that I have one, I just have an appreciation for them. Alright, I think we're done up here for now. Let's get our... Let's return out of here. Main menu, FMC. Posinit. Next page. Grab that one. And the scratch pad. Previous page. Paste it into there. Now the plane knows where it is. Happy days. Do I know when this should be fixed? No. Russian roulette, no I don't. That was basically why I had to send the card back, because I couldn't be waiting around for a stable driver when I've got a YouTube channel to run. So I sort of had to put my business hat on. You know, like as a gamer, because I play a lot of other games outside of Flight Sim, you know, Warzone, Valorant, CSGO, all of that stuff. As a gamer, I was like, this card is so good. But as a simmer, it was like, this is completely useless to me. As a simmer that streams. So unfortunately, it had to go. Oh, that's cool, Brian. That's really cool. Alright, let's go to route. Put the stats up for you as well while I think of it. So we are at EGAA, which is Belfast, and we're going to EGKK, which is of course Gatwick. Activate, execute. Magic. We go to the departures and arrivals. We're going to depart Belfast, runway 25, no SID. Departures, arrivals, arrive into Gatwick, ILS runway 08 right, I think, yes, I'm right in saying that. And we're arriving on the Dizzy 1G. I do believe. I think that is that. Let's go into legs and just check what we've asked it to do. Put the ND into plan. So here's us. We're going to take off and start heading out. That's all looking pretty good. Just waiting for the discontinuities to appear. There we go. Ooh. So we'll go in via Willow. So down here, go CF8OR. Put that in there. Not liking that. Just consult a chart a moment. Bear with. Will I buy one in the future? Did you try one card? I just returned it. Asked for a refund, so luckily I did not sell my 3070. I had it listed for sale, but it hadn't sold. So I was like, you know what? Let's get the 3070 back in and go from there. I'll revisit, and keep in mind I've got a AMD 5600X and I was massively CPU limited anyway, so maybe a stronger CPU is probably the next play, and then perhaps add a new GPU in due course. No, haven't got another one yet. Like I say, just put my old 3070 back in and sent the 4070 back just for a straight refund. Alright, let's click through this route one more time. Bum 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 bum. Perfect. So all Nvidia cards are recommended to roll back to the older driver version, but it's only, from what I can understand, only the 4070 that can't run that version. Because the 4070 Ti, 4080, 4090, they all came out quite a long time ago now. So they should, I believe. You may want to check the date on the driver. If the driver came out after the cards, you should be good. What is our cruise today? Surely we're going higher than that, right? Cruising, we're going to go at 33. How do you do that on here? Cruising up. Do you do FL330? Never had to do this bit before. Oh, actually, wait. Perfinite request. That'll do it. Yeah, that was my thought process. I looked at a 4070 Ti and the amount of money that it would cost and the fact it still only had 12 gig of VRAM. Didn't like that. Didn't like that at all. Hence I jumped at the 4070 because I thought actually you're getting most of the performance you need for a price that isn't too unreasonable. Unable 250 knots, okay. Why didn't I buy a 3080 Ti? Mostly power draw and heat. So I'm in a garden shed, 2x2 meters, very small, very well insulated, no windows. So if I was to have a 350 watt card cooking away, I would slowly cook. So I kind of got it was the power draw of the 4070 that appealed. 180 watts under full load while giving 3080-ish performance. I thought that was a pretty good deal. Maybe I need to invest in an air conditioner. I've got some fans that draw fresh air in and draw hot air out of the room, like extraction fans. So that does keep it okay-ish. Right, N1 limit. $370 today. Flaps 5 for takeoff. 140, 142, 151. Good. Well, I did wonder that as well. Obviously it makes sense that I couldn't install the driver that I'm being told I should install. But then there was that kind of 1% of you that thinks, well, maybe the card's just a dud. So yeah, I just sent it back. I was like, look, it's crashing my computer. I kept it simple. Didn't like go into details. Told them I'd done all the updates, drivers, motherboard BIOS, Windows updates, yada yada yada. So hopefully the refund will go through without an issue and I can go back to the drawing board. But yeah, it's a shame. I mean, I'm not happy about the situation. I would have loved it to have worked, to be quite honest with you, and had a really nice card, but there we are. Alright, let's look up here. Flight directors on 1 and 2. Let's get flight level 370 in the window, because we'll let VNAV do its thing. As we're going straight out. We'll arm LNAV. Why is that going off like that? IS, we'll put to 166, which is V2 plus 15, I think. Runway heading is 248 degrees. There we go. Could I answer? I thought I did. Yeah, it could well have been my one card. I don't know. My gut feeling is that it wasn't, but I guess we'll never know. I kind of just want my money back at this point in my account so I can clear my head and go again, if you see what I mean. Alright, auto brake set to RTO, rejected takeoff. Parking brake set. And we will do standby. Okay, let's get the door shut. Let's get out of here before the stream crashes again. Menu, FS actions, ground services, wheel chocks removed. And let's shut those doors, shall we? Oh, stairs are on their way away, that's good. Yeah, I would advise caution if you're going to be buying a 4070. Especially if it's for flight sim right now. Dunno. It's tricky. Okay, set pressure. Gatwick is 200 feet, or 203, so I'll just put 200 up there, that's good. Okay, let's get our anti-collision light on. We'll turn the packs off, ready for engine start. Get our logo light on. Let's see if we can do a pushback with our pushback tool, shall we? Oh, why has it done that? I hate it when it does that. Tell you what, let's go back to here. And then around to there. That's a nice little taxi. Or pushback rather. Hey IFR. Good question. Good question. Can't really see that information at the moment. I was looking at it the other night though, and I can't remember what it said now. I mean, it's running at like 40 something degrees, and I've got game mode on in Ryzen Master, so not sure there's heaps more that I can do really. Alright. Parking brake off. Here we go. Shall we get an engine started? Will we get to Gatwick before sundown? I don't think we will. I think it might be a darkish landing. Okay, that's flaps 5 for takeoff. Let's do that other engine, shall we? It looks cool. Yeah, it does look cool, doesn't it? I think the 737 is quickly becoming my favourite aircraft on the sim. Okay, tug should be leaving us to it. Alright, let's tell the plane to use our main engines to power itself now. Probe heat on. Do our pack switches to auto. Isolation valve to auto. APU bleed off. And we'll turn off the APU here as well. Taxi light on. We'll do runway turn-offs because, of course, it's starting to get a bit on the dark side, isn't it? No, not GSX. This is just the push-back toolbar thing, whatever it's called. It's a free download. Really cool. Really cool. All right, let's go. Go strobe and steady here. No faults. No faults. What am I forgetting? I feel like there's definitely something. Still not quite as familiar with this one as we are. Let's arm auto throttle actually. Brake off and let's taxi. Okay, what are the odds on us getting to Gatwick before the sim crashes? Or not the sim rather, I mean my version of OBS. Wait, local pressure. We didn't do local pressure, did we? One 0 2 6. Big difference. Good job we checked that. That's what I was forgetting. I knew I was forgetting something. No, I can't have frame generation on with the 3070. Though what I will say, when I had the 4070 briefly, it didn't always give me a lock 60. because it needs a certain amount to come from your system to start with to kind of get to where it needs to be. And even if if the sim's having like a bad moment and it's running at say 15 FPS, it will give you 30 because it will kind of double it up, but it won't feel like a good 30. It'll feel like a bit of a rubbish 30 because it's only got 15 points of reference to generate its frames, versus say if you're running at 40 FPS, that gives it a lot more frames to generate from and make it up to 80 and have it look good. How many do we have now? I mean, I've got VSync on, so it will say it will max out at 30. I mean, it could be doing more. I've never seen it do more than like 42. Sort of 42, 45 is kind of the most I've ever really seen with these settings. But of course I'm on a TV that's 60 Hz with no variable refresh rate, so I need it to be a multiple of 60, otherwise I'll get screen tearing and it'll look rubbish. So my TV is displaying 2 frames from my PC, or 1 frame for every 2 refreshes, so it shows the same frame twice, sort of 30 frames into 60. Well, the plan was to stream in 4K. I mean, I'm limited a little bit by bandwidth as well here, which is another issue. That's the main reason, is bandwidth, my internet speed. Although allegedly we are getting fibre optic into the premises soon. So when that happens, I would like to maybe stream in 4K. That'd be quite cool. And of course I thought with the AV1 encoders on the 4070 I might be able to stream in 4K prior to my fibre optics arriving, because of course AV1 is way more efficient and you can stream at higher resolutions with a lower bitrate and still have it look decent. Yeah, it seems to be holding a locked 30 at the moment, which is nice. We'll see what it's like when we get into Gatwick, because of course we are using the flightsim.to version of Gatwick, the one that's available for free and is very, very popular on there. And it is known for being quite demanding on the systems. Alright, let me get that FPS counter off. Turn the map on. Okay, put the landing lights on, engines into continuous. Strobes are on, auto throttle is armed. LNAV should be armed, but it went straight off, that's weird. Weather radar. Okay, let's go line up. I'm going to have to look at my OBS logs when I get done with this and just try and figure out why it crashed the first time. I was recording yesterday, just recording some footage, and I noticed it crashed once and then it stayed stable for ages, so it's almost like it crashes once and it's okay. Alright, everybody ready? Let's get ourselves down to Gatwick, shall we? So we'll thrust at 40%. Oh wait, I know what I've done. Wait. You'll only shout at me if I don't do that now. Not that we particularly need it, because we're not on VATSIM, but... Let the engine stabilise at 40% N1. Holding it on the brakes, letting it go. Yoke forward until 80 knots.
8 knots.
Let it come back. Just waiting for rotate.
V1, rotate.
Away we go.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Zoom our ND in a little bit. Let's start our turn, shall we? We're not going to make this turn perfectly just because it's it's a direct out approach, so there's no sit out of here. Okay, let's turn off auto brake. And let's get ourselves round to catch this first waypoint. So just hand flying this first bit, then we will take in the views out the window. Right, autopilot on, LNAV and VNAV. Let's see what it wants to do. Hopefully it's going to realise it's going to take us to this waypoint and then turn us to the left. Okay, so what is it doing there? Where does it think we're going? Okay, Lisbo, then Turnus. Yes, good plane. Then we go to Ringer. Oh, look at that view. There's Belfast down there. Never been to Belfast, I'd like to get over there sometime. Hey Louisi, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, I apologise if I'm not. Nice to see you in the chat again, hope you're doing well. Okay, 10,000 feet. Landing lights off, runway turn off, off. Engines out of continuous. Nothing's on fire up here, that's good. So what's in store for us? Nice. So it's not a particularly long flight tonight. Just right. I'm just glad that we're up in the air and we're flying and the stream is staying up. I know it didn't first thing. We had one bad one. I'm going to have to look into the OBS logs and see. Try and see what it is that's doing that. I don't think it's related to the sim. The sim was fine. The sim didn't do anything wrong. It didn't put a foot wrong. The sim itself stayed up the whole time. Something on OBS's side, it just crashed it out. I'm at my phone right now because I'm on the train going home. Hey, that's not bad, is it? That's not bad. One little thing I'm going to do over the next day or two is I'm curious. I don't know whether I'm chasing a bad idea, a bad ideal, a bad dream if you like, of wanting to do 4K for flight sim. I'm just wondering if that's fundamentally a bad idea. Would I not be better served going back to 1080p, 1440p? I feel like all I'm doing is stressing out my system to get 4K, and I'm not sure the payoff is there. It's unfortunate that we've got an old, and I mean old, 1080p LCD TV that's 32 inches. So I think what I might do over the weekend is just swap out the 4K TV that I'm currently on for the 1080p TV, 32 inch, and just see how it feels. Is the resolution high enough? Does it look okay? Is 32 inch, based on where I'm sat, the right kind of screen size? Does it all fit? Does it all work? If the answer is yes, if it is working, I would be very tempted to get a variable refresh rate 1080p 32 inch monitor. Because then I don't need to worry about being locked at 60 or locked at 30. If my system can do 65, great, I'll have 65 frames. If it can only do 52, great, I'll have 52. But the screen won't start tearing or anything weird, it will just show me the frames that I need to see. Which also then takes the pressure off getting a new graphics card, because the 3070 can do 1080p Ultra with ease, I would hope. I'm already streaming to you in 1080p, so it would make no difference to you. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the moment I'm at 43 inches 4K. So the main question is, will 32 inch feel too small? Or maybe I can bring the screen a little bit closer if I have it on like one of those hydraulic arms that you can get fairly cheap off of Amazon. That could be an idea. And there's the Isle of Man. That's another place it'd be nice to get to, the Isle of Man. Been to the Isle of Wight, but never the Isle of Man. Right, how's things looking up front? Let's go take a look. Oh, standard. Silly me. What is our frequencies for ILS into Gatwick? Let's have a quick look. Hello, will the 737 come to Xbox today? I don't honestly know. I know that PMDG are working on it. If it's the PMDG 737 you're talking about, of course. As for today or a specific date, I'm afraid I can't help you on that. Is it supposed to be today? I wasn't aware that it was imminent. But then I don't really follow the Xbox side of stuff as closely, so possible that I missed it. .9 is the ILS for Gatwick. So we'll get that into standby. 110.9. It's already recognised it's an ILS. That's in the standby. So we should start seeing North Wales out the window. There it is. Holyhead and Anglesey, I believe. Basically where you go to catch the ferry to go to Dublin. Or I suppose you can go, what is it, Fishguard or Pembroke to Rosslare. think we'll be doing well to get into Gatwick before sundown, you know. We'll be doing very well indeed to do that. Which will be interesting because I am not so good in the dark. I find dark landings a bit of a challenge. It's dark landings and landings where it's a load of water. Like San Francisco is a good example of that. Like water, 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 runway. I find that very weird. I think it's mostly just because I use a lot of the markers on the ground as just visual aids. Just little markers that you can keep track of and gauge. I know you've got your instruments, so there isn't really an excuse, but it's just a visual aid to kind of, you can tell if you're descending too fast or you need to descend more, or you can almost get lost in the water if it's just a flat expanse of water. It's very easy to kind of just become mesmerized and lost in it. But yeah, there's no excuse. We've got the instruments, so. One thing we should think about actually is lights. Where are the lights for the cockpit to brighten things up? Aha. That will hopefully help. Must nearly be at top of climb. Yeah, there we are. Top of climb in 20 miles. And top of descent can't be far off. Because look, we're almost over mainland now. What's the weather situation like? Down at Gatwick. Oh, wrong one. EGKK, there it is. So, pressure is 1027, so not vastly different to when we left Belfast. So the wind is at 090 and 05 knots. So we're coming in on runway 08. So actually that's only a 10-degree difference. And it's only 5 knots, so actually we're doing pretty well. We're doing pretty good for wind. It may of course be different by the time we get there. So heading roughly southeast now across Wales. What's going on up front here? Well, let's do a frame check. How are we doing for frames per second, of course. That's the... yeah, still locked at 30. Wonderful. So look. Here's top of climb. And there's top of descent. Brilliant. What's the plan on the descent? So all the way down, what we're heading down to? 3,000. So if we just get 3,000 up here, then when it's time, the plane will just take care of it all for us, which is really nice. There we go. So in approximately 10 miles, the plane will start to descend. And it will track itself all the way down. Oops. These are where it thinks it will be at various waypoints, and it will descend to try and hit that as best it can. You may need to intervene with like speed brakes and things to help it out along the way if it goes off profile. That should be absolutely fine. Ah, JD, how you doing? How's it going? Did you get a chance to try the drivers? Right, top of descent coming up. There it goes. A week ago I did live weather and time landing in Frankfurt. 15 knot crosswind, wow, okay. Rain, clouds. You see the runway at 300 feet. A little late and a little hard. Well, I would say you are able to be excused for that. That's fairly treacherous conditions, isn't it? I mean, 300 feet to get a visual is not a lot of time to think and to make any minor adjustments, so I'd say you did alright there. That's pretty good. You just got in, fair enough, JD. Fair enough. I mean, so far, aside from OBS crashing on me within like 2 minutes of starting the stream earlier, and us having to restart, we've been at locked 30 basically the entire time. It's been really, really good. Still bothersome why OBS decided to crash, but I think that's a separate issue completely. That's an OBS thing. The sim didn't crash like it did many times over the last couple of, well, 3 to 5 days. So I'd say we're on to a winner. I mean, to be clear, my system probably is doing more frames at the moment, but I've got it locked to 30, so as long as it's doing that, that's the main thing. it'd be nice if we could see what it could do, if you know what I mean. Like, I know it's locked at 30, but if it wanted to, what could it do? It'd be cool if we had that value as well. Okay, so looking at the little magenta arrows, got that one there, right in the middle, which means we're completely on profile. If, say, it went above or below, that means we're like too low or too high based on the descent profile. So we're good. Yeah, it's a real shame, isn't it? Because I think otherwise the sim is in such a good place at the moment. It's just that one issue for a portion of players that are on Nvidia cards. It's a bit of a problem. Still a bit sad that I had to send back the 4070. I was really hoping that card would have been better than it was. Mind you, I could end up with it back yet if they refuse to refund, so we'll see. I think it should be okay. It should be alright. Thinking of making myself a little head tracker. See if I can get like a cheapo webcam off of Amazon and some software and jerry rig something. Maybe make a video on it. Primary school BBC computer on a trolley. Those were the days, eh? I remember us having one of those. And even then it was old. Such that we were making jokes about how old it was. And what a terrible financial situation the school must have been in. Still, at least it's made me appreciate my 3070. My trusty 3070. It's done some work, that card, you know. It's worked hard. Doesn't owe me a thing. I mean, I was hoping really that the 4070 with the frame generation would give me a locked 60 at 4K. That's kind of what I was chasing, really. But it didn't really give that. And I don't know whether that was because of the driver thing. Because it did say that it gave bad performance and we got bad performance, so... That'll be Birmingham down there. So where's Birmingham Airport? Ah, there it is. I remember staying in a Premier Inn just around there. But I don't live anywhere near Birmingham, but it was like, flew from Birmingham, and it was like a 6 a.m. flight, and it's like, by the time you have to minus 2 hours that they want you there beforehand, then you minus how many hours it will take us to drive to Birmingham, which is a lot. It's like, you know what, let's go the night before and get a Premier in. At least we can get some sleep. Or Travel Lodge or whatever it was. Yeah, I understand you, JD. Yeah, I would hope, of course I can't say for sure, because I no longer have one. It's in a box on its way back, but you would hope, if an updated driver comes out, that everything's good again, you know? But like, I was in a position where the sim was outputting like 15, 18 frames a second. And if you enable frame gen on that, I mean, there's only so much it can do. You need to be giving it a good amount of frames to get a good result when you turn on the frame generation, because it needs those frames to generate its frames. And if you're only giving it 18, that's not many points of reference to generate quality new frames. It would have been fine if I was able to roll back to the driver that Asobo recommend. I think that would have been problem solved. But of course, because the 4070 is newer than the driver, you try to install the driver and the driver's like, well, I don't know what this card is you've got installed, because it wasn't out when I was made, if that makes sense. Problem, really. And the funny thing is, I nearly went for a 4070 Ti, which would have been fine, because that came out, what was it, like January? But I just didn't want to spend that amount of money and only get 12 gig of RAM for it. How do we get some lights on in here? It feels dim. I've done the dome lights. What's this down here? I don't know what that is. Aha. That's more like it. So what does this one do? Oh, nice. Yeah, the little bar of light up there. Hee. We're learning. We're learning. What res are you playing at, JD, with that, out of interest? Oh, hi Sundray. Yeah, you're not the first person to come in tonight asking about that. I was actually unaware that that was a thing. I wasn't aware that PMDG were launching their 737 on Xbox. I didn't realise that was so imminent. Brilliant though, if brilliant if true. Yeah, it's a fantastic addition to the sim, it really is. Ooh, that stutter then had me worried. .1080p, nice. So what sort of frames are you getting at 1080p? I mean, I was saying earlier, I don't know if you were here for it, probably weren't. It's just after we took off. I'm wondering whether to just give up the chase on the 4K Dream. Maybe get like a 32-inch 1080p panel, because I sit quite far back from the screen, really, because of the yoke. The yoke kind of... I mean, that must be a good 2.5 foot away from the screen at least. Because the yoke puts you like 30 centimetres away from the desk, because that's how far that sticks out. And I'm obviously further back again. Hi, hello Nick. Have we fixed it yet? Well, we've got the 3070 back in. The stream did crash first time round, but the sim did not. It was just the OBS. I think that's a separate OBS issue, the streaming software that crashed. We've been live for an hour and 20 minutes, solid as a rock, 30 frames locked. There it is, look. So yeah, feeling pretty good at the moment. Hoping we get a decent-ish landing. Although it might be a bit dark by the time we get there. Okay, what are we doing for speeds? 250, 220, 220, 184. See, to me that seems a bit quick, given that we are 8 miles away from the runway. We've got to drop another 30 knots while descending. Let's do it. Let's see if it can do it. We'll see if the plane has worked it out right. So do you know what preset you've got it on, JD? Like high, ultra, medium? Yeah, it's starting to get dark out there now, isn't it? We are going to go a little bit off the course that the minimap shows, only because the minimap does not have access to the star that we're going to be doing. So don't worry about that if that happens. And sorry in advance, Nick, yoke cam is temporarily broken. I don't know why. We need to look into that. I tried to turn it on earlier and it just... nah, nothing. Look at that for a sunset. So where is that? Where is that airport? That'd be that one, right? EGVN. Oh, it's Bryce Norton. Oh, there you go. It's not until you get up here you realise how many airports there are. There's that one, there's that one. Yeah, fair enough, JD. Yeah, like I say, part of me just wonders, do I just ditch the whole dream of... it's Fairford. Ditch the 4K dream. My dad has a 32-inch 1080p Sony LCD TV from years ago. So I've got him lined up to bring it over, and I'm going to put it in the place of the 4K panel, see if it's big enough, because obviously I sit quite far back, see if I can get it in a position where it's comfortable to look at, and just kind of see what the quality looks like. And maybe pick up like a Samsung 1080p 32-inch monitor with a bit of variable refresh rate going on. So if the PC can chuck out 60, 70, 80 frames, then we can get them, and if it can't, if it can only do 52, then it's no biggie, because the variable refresh rate will take care of it. That to me might be the sensible way out, because it means I don't have to upgrade a damn thing. What are those green dots? Oh, wait, that's the... No, I don't know. I don't know what they are. Anyone know? What are those two? Never ditch a dream. Follow your dreams. Trouble is, that dream could end up costing me an awful lot of money. And equally, there's something nice about knowing that you're not running your system on the ragged edge constantly. It's like... Is that Heathrow over there? Yeah, it is, isn't it? I think perhaps a new CPU would be more beneficial than a GPU at this point. I mean, even outside of the sim, I've got a buddy that I play Warzone with, and put in the new 4070, and we were like, right, let's see what it can do. And it's like, oh, it's exactly the same frames per second as the 3070 was, and that's because the CPU I've got is limiting it. Like following Sunderland. Have you watched Ted Lasso? We just finished the new season of that. It's a brilliant little show. Oh, wrong side. Yeah. Get a glimpse of Heathrow. You can always spot Heathrow because of those reservoirs that are nearby. Oh, you got to watch it, JD. It's yeah, it's quite a cute little show, really. It's one of those that, if you've had a bit of a day, you just want to watch something, but not have to think too hard and have a few laughs. Feels like the show's got a good heart as well, you know. I mean, in general, I've been quite impressed with Apple TV Plus, the streaming service, but they haven't got an awful lot of stuff. But what they do have feels like it's of higher quality. I feel like I'm sick of Netflix at the moment. Alright, 10,000 feet. We can see the coast. Let's get some lights on. And we will definitely do runway turn off. Wheel well. Do I want wheel wells? Probably, I guess, because we're landing at night. Do you do wing lights at night? I feel like maybe you don't, but let's just do it anyway. Alright, so Gatwick is just over there. Where is it? It's out there somewhere. Is that it down there? No. Where is it? We're lost. Oh, it's going to be more like over there. Yeah, it happens, JD. Where is Gatwick? Well, at least the plane knows where it is, even if I don't. That way, somewhere. Maybe it just hasn't rendered in yet or something. Anyway, we're doing a bit of a funny route in. Sort of going to come back on ourselves, decel just before Holly, back up, round on final. Boff, in we go. Nick, I think you should get first dibs on route choice for when the new 747 comes out. Assuming we can do it in like between 2 and 3 hours. I feel like we don't fly that plane enough, especially given how much you love it. I know it's a favourite of yours. And mine too, I'm just not particularly good in it, so I kind of feel like I shy away from it a little bit. What was local pressure? Let's just quickly check, because I don't think it's out, wasn't it like 1025 or something? 1027 has changed. Okay, let's get some speed brakes out, because switching to local pressure has affected where the plane thinks it is in terms of its profile. So the speed brakes will help us do a higher rate of descent, which should then bring that into line for us. Okay, speed brakes down. Right, any sign of Gatwick? Who put that wind turbine right on the approach of that runway? Oh no. Oh no. Tell me you felt that as well. There's Gatwick. Blimey. Thought I was going to keel over then. Not again. Can't take another one. Yeah, it's definitely a mission, Nick, to learn the 747. There is a cool route in real life. I saw a video on it recently. Where is it? Mallorca to Frankfurt, I think. They do a 747 there daily, I think, or almost daily. Okie dokie, let's look at approach speeds. 150, wind correction plus 5 knots, so we'll do 155 on approach. 110.9. Let's take a moment and get that into the active slot. So we're heading down to 5,492 it thinks at Holly, but that's obviously just where it thinks we'll be at that point. It's really trying to get to 4,000 for Willow. So once we get around this bend. Well, I was thinking, Nick, maybe that route might be a good idea, because that's kind of the distance that we could easily do in the time I have in the mornings to stream. Hopefully we could fit in a cold and dark as well. Because that's the thing, you can't just consider the flight time, you also have to kind of think about, well, getting the plane fired up. See your house on the left, let's have a look. So that's Gatwick. You see all the street lights coming on now because it's getting dark. I don't often fly at night in the sim. Mostly because I'm terrified of it. I'm not very good in the dark. Rob, you got Game Pass, haven't you? You should get this installed. No excuse. This is quite a weird way into Gatwick, isn't it? Quite unnecessary, seeing as we're on single player, but I guess we'll just go with it. I did like Gatwick as an airport, like in real life, flying out of it. I thought it was alright. As airports go, it was pretty good. The only slight downside was bumping into the cast of The Only Way is Essex. Man, they were annoying. And of course, having nearly tripped over one of their bags and suitcases in the boots in the airport. And them looking very grumpy at me and me looking very grumpy at them, and words were said. Of course they end up on the same flight as me, and of course they end up like literally the row in front of me. It's like, oh no. Hey Splatty, long time no see, how you doing? Alright, let's get ready for this turn, shall we? Toulouse to Lisbon. Yeah, that'd be a cool flight actually, wouldn't it? Oh, hey Jamie. Oh, good for you. If you've got no issues, that's brilliant. Fingers crossed it stays that way. I think if I was just playing for fun or just like recording stuff as and when, making little videos on a not too much of a time pressure basis, I probably would have lived with it. But when it's stopping you from going live and doing the thing... Oh no. That was not the stream that froze then. That was my game. Just as I'm saying all that about the 4070. Yeah, the 3070 is so much better. Crash. Yeah, good, thanks, Flatty. Back on the 3070 again. Which is a bit of a shame. It would have been nice to have kept the 4070, but... Oh, look at that. That sun is going. And then it gave me a heart attack when it froze then for a second. Notice how the 3070 recovered brilliantly. Right, I should probably start taking more of an interest in what's going on in the cockpit now, shouldn't I, rather than looking at what's going on in the window. So we're 220 knots, which is fine. We're going to stay that way until D104E, which is up here. Make a turn. It wants us at 184 knots at FF08R, which is here. We then got another 8.7 miles. So that should be okay. We should be able to lose another 30 knots in that time. Let's trust the plane. Let's trust it. Should be alright. Which is my license to look out the window again. Yeah, keep us posted, Jamie, on how you get on with the 4070. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea, IFR. I don't know if you saw it, I did a video recently on the channel, I say recently, probably a few weeks ago now, of 16 versus 32, and 32 doesn't really give you any more FPS, but what it does do is it makes the lows less low, makes everything that just a bit smoother, gets rid of the dips. I don't know what RAM you've got, but if you've got DDR4, I mean, it's dirt cheap at the moment relative to what it was. It's a good time to do it. So far, so good. I must say, when we landed into Malaga recently in real life, I was surprised at how late gear down was, and I was surprised at how late flaps went to full. So I'm trying to keep that in mind a little bit more with my simming, because I feel like I'm very, very quick to like get flaps to full, get gear down, like miles and miles out. Mostly out of fear of not being there. When the time is right. I guess it's a confidence thing that grows with time. Okay, a little bit more of a turn and we should be in business. just see the runway there above the wing. Gear down. Okay, approach mode is on. Alrighty, I have control, for better or worse. Okay, gear down, flaps 30, lights are on, speed brake is armed. And we are a little bit over to the left, that's okay, we can correct that. That's more like it. Feels like the ILS is off a little bit. Let's get auto brakes to 2. A32NX ILS Autoland, yeah sure, it's dead easy. But obviously only easy if you know the answer. It's like so many things in life. There's a little bit of a wind. Though the ND isn't actually showing anything. Oh no. Does not like this new Gatwick, does it? Does not like it at all. That stutter did not help us in the least.
500.
Okay, we're a bit high.
400.
That's better.
300. 200.
A little bit off centre. See if we can correct that. This is going to be a late one for sure.
100.
All thanks to that stutter.
50. 30. 20. 10.
And we're down. That one bad, all things considered. That stutter really threw me off there towards the end. Okay, reverse is on. I'm not going to make that turn off. Let's go right to the end. Seeing as it's only us. Put the speed brakes back down. Okay, that was not bad, all things considered. I was a bit concerned that stutter, as we were on short final there. As we came out of it, we were a bit high of the ILS. I mean, in the real world, probably go around situation, but we'll make do with that. Actually quite pleased with that the more I think about it. That was a bit of a rescue, but now what is the frames like on the ground here in Gatwick? Because it does struggle. Yeah, it's struggling alright. It is struggling alright. It's not sure whether it's limited by the main thread or the GPU, but let's go for gate 16, shall we? Cheers, Nick. You've likely already answered this, but what's the performance difference between 3070 and 4070? Honestly, it wasn't much, but then I don't know if that was because I was on a bad driver the whole time I was on the 4070 and I couldn't get on the good driver because the good driver's too old and didn't know what the 4070 was, therefore no good. I mean, it would occasionally get 60 if you had frame generation turned on. Voila. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, I may give up the dream of 4K and move back to a 1080p panel, variable refresh rate, so I don't have to worry about VSync and tearing and all that stuff. Maybe make life a little bit easier on the system, make the streams a bit smoother. I mean, you see the streams in 1080p already, so it's kind of not like you'd be losing out on anything. Yeah, tricky one. Anywho, I think I'm going to leave it there. That was a really nice flight. I did enjoy that. It was cool landing in the dark. Don't often get to do it, and it's something I'm not overly comfortable with, so it'd be cool to do more of it. Yeah, I need to practice those a bit more. But as always, thank you very much indeed for your company. Thank you for your time, and I will see you on the next stream, which will most likely be Monday morning. Now. That'll be 9:15 AM UK time on Monday. I'll schedule it in advance, of course, but I think that's it now for live for the week. So with that, you have a good evening and a good weekend, and hopefully I'll see you on Monday. Take care. Cheers.